Hello everyone, and welcome to another News Coolum video and another Chevrolet Bolt EV road trip. So I have some things to do, including going to the Los Angeles Auto Show. And this trip is going to be, I don't know how many miles, because I really haven't planned much of it out at all. I just know that it could be over 2,000, maybe 3,000 miles all told. And what else am I going to take but my trusty 2017 Chevrolet Bolt EV. Now, just a few caveats, right? This is a pre-patch. I still haven't had the patch, so I'm on my original battery with a little over 143,000 miles on it. I still have that updated charging curve that, with the recall fix. So it's a curve rather than a step down or a taper. Yeah, other than that, though, this is pretty straightforward. I don't really plan my trips. I know a lot of people use route planners, things like that, 3,000 mile trip. I'm like, nah, who cares? And it's not just a California thing, because I'm probably not staying in California for the entire time. But the point is, route planning is nowhere near as difficult as people make it out to be, pretty much anywhere. And even if you're outside of California, it's still not that difficult because you have fewer options. So your choices are made for you. It's actually more difficult in a place like California because your stops are really up to you because you have so many to choose from, and that's really what makes it difficult, is sort of filtering through the chaff and getting to the charging sites that actually meet your needs, your car's needs, your trip's needs, your passengers' needs, the expectations of the trip, right? So I'm not a huge fan of route planners because they don't know you, and they can't necessarily adapt on the trip to meet your expectations or your passengers' expectations for the trip. That's why I never use route planners. And in this case, I'm in kind of a time crunch, right? Because our electric vehicle advocacy group from Ventura County is meeting. It's about 520 miles from here. And I'm only giving myself about 10 and a half, maybe 11 hours to make it. I don't know what traffic is like. I don't know what the weather is like. But we'll see. And one more thing is, I did violate the recall just a little bit by turning off Hilltop Reserve mode. I want a little bit extra juice because I don't know about these conditions. I'm on newer tires that I know are less efficient. The roads are wet, fog, who knows, wind, that sort of thing. So I'm giving myself a little extra cushion to make it to the first planned stop, which is just a cool charging site I want to review. So let's hit the road. Well, we made it. I guess barely, but not really. I kind of planned for this. But we're here at Electrify America, Santa Clara, 14 chargers. But I need to get this charger started, and I really need to use the bathroom. I've been on the road for almost 3 hours. So let's get going. So apparently I arrived with 3% battery. So there you go. And charging at 51 kilowatts. All right, so I just decided to go ahead and eat. I just did a site review for this, and actually I'm not completely done, but I just wanted to take a little bit of a breather before I finish my burrito bowl. But we're staying a little bit longer than I had intended on. Eat your heart out, Tesla Bjorn. We're actually down to charging only 25 kilowatts. But I actually, the way my legs are going to work for this trip, it's only going to be about 110 to 120 miles per leg. And our EV advocate meeting is in Camarillo this weekend. So that basically, I'm not going to really try to charge up before I get there, I'll probably arrive and go to the meeting with only like 10% battery. But it means I have several 100-mile legs left to finish, right? We're only, 180 miles into a 520-mile trip right now. So I'm staying much longer than I had intended on. We're already, like I said, almost up to 50 minutes on the charger, and that's unfortunate. Just slow getting food. So I didn't have a chance to really do a full-on site review. But, you know, that's the way of things with some of these trips, is you're just sort of rushing during a stop to try and get what you need to get done before the car reaches a point that it just doesn't make sense to be charging anymore. So, like I said, I'm pretty sure I already have more than enough range to make it to the next stop, which is probably going to be King City, could be Soledad, I don't know, but yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and finish my burrito bowl and not really worry about rushing too much. Whatever I take off now, I'll be able to shave off on a future charging session, maybe. It won't be the equivalent time because I'm charging at 23 kilowatts or whatever right now, as opposed to shaving off 5 minutes charging at 50 kilowatts. Doesn't really add up the right way. But anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and finish my food and probably be out of here in 5 minutes, maybe 12:55, maybe, if I'm lucky. All right. Well, we made it here to King City, California. So we had a decent tailwind, so we made good efficiency on the way back. And yeah, let's see if I can pull my trusty ChargePoint card out. Oh, nice. King City, right off the freeway. Not super close. I actually almost tried the free wire across the street, but I didn't get to it. So let's hope I have my order of operations right. Yeah, this is, could have pulled in a little bit closer, I guess. Let's see. And yeah, I think it says it's already charging. Let's see. Yeah. So this is one of the fastest activations of any of the public chargers, in my opinion. Like literally just RFID card, and you know, I didn't speed up the time or time splice or anything else. It's literally just a matter of 10, 15, 20 seconds between the time you plug in and the time you're actually actively charging, which, you know, a lot of other companies, I think they need to replicate that. I mean, Tesla can do that with the superchargers, but Electrify America really struggles with that. EVgo is okay depending on the charger, not so much the heavier chargers like the BTC Power and the ABB and the Signet chargers. Those seem to take a little bit longer based on what I've experienced. But these ChargePoint Express units, like I said, I should have pulled in earlier, a little closer. There's a little bit of stress on the cable to the side. But even with my sort of sensitive CCS port, it started up Well, like you saw pretty quickly, but you also saw that I arrived with a 21% battery, which is higher than I would have planned for normally. That's what I was saying, that extra time I spent over in at Santa Clara Mall just after having to wait for food. That basically ate up about 10 more minutes, pun intended. So I would have normally arrived here about 10% battery, and the conditions were pretty good. We had a bit of a tailwind. They have a little windsock there, so my efficiency was probably a little bit better than it would have been normally, but still I would have planned for getting here probably with 5 to 10% battery, like I normally do. So here we are, like I said, right behind an AutoZone in case you need to pick something up. Safeway, Rite Aid. Yeah, so good stuff. All right, so I'm here charging up. It looks like I might have been wrong about the the charger stealing excess charge rate, because it looks like this just might be charging at the cap for the battery now, which is kind of cool. It is what I would have hoped for. But while I was here, what I wanted to do, because I haven't really talked about this, I would have done a site review, but this is just one of those basic sites, and there's someone else over here, another Bolt EV on the phone. I don't want to mess around with his meeting time, but it's just basically the two of us right now. But I wanted to go through how I kind of plan my stops, in that I didn't really plan at all. I knew I wanted to check out the Electrify America charger in Santa Clara at the Santa Clara Mall, but otherwise this King City, there's I have the filter set, so it's only showing like ChargePoint, EVgo, and Electrify America right now. There's another FreeWire charger, and I do owe them an apology, because they reached out to me about possibly testing the throughput of their chargers, and some stuff came up, personal stuff and things like that. And then, of course, in the middle of a pandemic, it's going to be hard to arrange something like that. So I didn't really get to do a stress test of one of their chargers like I wanted to. But there's another one here in King City. And then this one, you'll notice I actually am already checked in here. So if you can check in when you get here. Now, what I wanted to do, though, is I already kind of knew where I wanted to stop, because it was partially about the trip, because I do need to make it into Camarillo in a decent amount of time, but it's also partially just about the location. So there is a charger down here in Solvang. Well, actually, there are two, right? But the one in Buellton right next to the freeway, that's 50 kilowatt ChargePoint units, which I don't want to bother with, but there are actually Electrify America chargers that went in Santa Maria, and this is a site where I really wanted them to be, and they just they finally went in there. Sorry, take a couple of fingers to pinch, but yeah. So like, I just kind of know that this is along the route where I'd want it to be. Now there's a BMW charger here, but that's the old 25 kilowatt charger, so I don't really want to deal with that. But there is this Target Electrify America charger, so I just select it from here, showing 97 miles, and it's basically street freeway, so that's actually pretty accurate. So we can basically leave at any time right now. Yeah, I just set it in my Google Maps, and I can do this from the road too, just with the voice activation, especially since I know it's Target in Santa Maria. But yeah, I just load it up, and then when I plug in my phone, it's Android Auto on the display, and yeah, that's pretty much how easy it is. So it's saying 114 miles driving. We'll get there at 5 p.m. So I'm going to be cutting things a little bit close. Santa Maria is about an hour from Camarillo, a little bit more than that maybe. So, I need to make up maybe a little bit of time driving. Like I said, I did get I left a little later than I wanted to, and I got, stuck at Santa Clara a little bit too. So like I said, I don't really have time for a site review here, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and take off, right? I think 114 miles is completely doable in these conditions. with basically what 65% battery. So, or I guess they're saying 61%, but by the time I shut it down, I'll be a little higher than that. So I just wanted to share that, and yeah, let's get ready to hit the road. We made it here to Target in Santa Maria. Just a little bit of battery juice left, I think. But yeah, the parking lot was a pain in the butt to get through. But yeah, let's just get this charger started. All right. Well, you know, it started right up. I guess according to this, we were at 1% battery. But yeah, it's kind of odd because. Well, we're already up to 3. Nice. Yeah, I still can't film and activate the charger at the same time, unfortunately, because my Bolt EV both, you know, it requires me to keep my handle supported on these heavier cables, and Electrify America requires an app. So it's basically a two-hand operation, which, you know, leaves me with no third hand for a camera. But you know, otherwise, it's like I said, it started straight up, nowhere near as fast as ChargePoint, which I said is something that Electrify America really needs to work on. Their activation times are horrific, to the point that, you know, it's actually a real difference. A Chevrolet Bolt EV owner would be able to travel faster using those 62 kilowatt ChargePoint chargers than they would using these 350 or 150 kilowatt Electrify America chargers. There's just such a big difference in that, you know, that activation time. We're talking actually almost minutes. So anyway, yeah, this is a nice site here. You know, I'll probably do a site review in a second. Near Target, I'm going to probably need to run and use the bathroom. Another, basically almost like, what, hour and 40 minutes on the road. There's some places to eat here too. This is actually a very nice location. This is a very good stop for travelers heading up and down Highway 101. I got caught up in a little bit of rush hour traffic. It looks like maybe commuters between San Luis Obispo and Santa Maria. That slowed me down quite a bit. But I think we're still on track. I'll have to check the time exactly. Right now it's saying it's 5:13. I got to give myself an hour and a half to make it to Camarillo. So as it stands right now, we'll probably won't be there until a little after 7 p.m. I still have to find the location where we're meeting. So, but I'm not too far off, given, you know, this was sort of a last-minute decision to say, hey, I'll swing by the meeting because I'm going to be coming down to Southern California. So here we are. All right, so yeah, we're burning daylight here. So you know, I stayed a little bit longer. I should have plenty of juice to make it 105 miles. I know, famous last words, but yeah, we're at 67%, already tapered down to about 24 kilowatts. So yeah, we've been here for 50 minutes already. So yeah, we've basically been here for a pretty long time. But yeah, I think this means that based on this estimate, it's probably going to be 7:45 before I get there, so I'll have to be fashionably late. That's what you get for leaving late and getting a late burrito. So, well, among many other issues. All right, well, book it, Dano. It's, I guess, 10 hours and 45 minutes, or about 10 hours and 44 minutes on the dot. I think I might be in the right spot. So, yeah, maybe. I just got to figure out where the restaurant is. But yeah, so I'll try to run into the meeting, and then I'll close out separately. Yeah, I'd say I'm in the right spot. Time for some food. All right, well, I figured I would sum up the trip so far. You know, I think what I'll do is actually do these in legs, because otherwise it's going to be a really, a really long video. So let's just consider the first 515 mile leg done. Now, I'm in Southern California. Yeah, I'm here. You know, I went to the electric vehicle advocacy group meeting. You know, and I was a little bit late for that, but that wasn't my only reason for coming down. I think some of the chargers that I chose to stop at impacted that. So it took about 10 hours and 45 minutes to go the 510 miles or so. But I think there are a couple of things that impacted that, because I think I actually would have had enough you know, time to make it to the meeting on time, which would have been about 7 p.m. So about 45 minutes faster, had a few things changed. So I don't think the battery was fully charged when I left, but it was close enough that that doesn't really matter. You know, the Bolt EV, I mean, I arrived with 3% in the Santa Clara Electrify America charger. So that 3% probably would have been 5%. It wouldn't have made much of a difference. There were some slowdowns, some traffic. That Electrify America charger in Santa Clara was a little bit out of the way. So I kind of went out of my way, and I kind of got lost trying to get back on the freeway again. So there were some slowdowns, like there's some slowdowns through San Luis Obispo. I kind of hit right around, I think, rush hour, people going back to Santa Maria. So just commuters, traffic, road construction, that sort of thing. So there were a lot of little things that I think probably would have added up to about 10 to 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes difference. But one that I know I'm noticing is taking an effect are the tires. So these Continental Pure Contacts, they aren't as efficient as the you know, the Michelin Energy Savers, and it's about 5%. It's a 5% difference, and that's kind of important, because I arrived at 2 of the charging locations with less than 5, and so when you look at how much of an impact that has, right, how much more you have to charge to compensate for that 5% difference, it starts to add up. And you should be taking that from the slowest part of the charging curve, not the fastest, right? Because you're always going to have that bottom half of the Bolt EV's charging curve where you're charging at its fastest rate. Well, the 5% doesn't come out of that. The 5% comes out of having to charge to 70% instead of 65% to make it to your next charger, or charging to 65% instead of 60% to make it to the next charger. And so that's where you're feeling that. To go from 65 to 70% right now in the Chevrolet Bolt EV does look like it's taking about 6 to 7 minutes, even with this new charging taper profile. So over the course of 3 charging stops and 500 miles, just the efficiency of the tires alone, they're costing me about 20 minutes. So that's a significant consideration. Now, these Continental Pure Contacts, they're softer, like have better traction, better grip, lower road noise than the Michelin Energy Savers. So there are benefits to running them. But if you do a lot of long distance trips, even these as low rolling resistance tires, they do impact. Now the Bolt EV, of course, doesn't charge the fastest, so the impact would be less on a faster charging EV. But you know, losing 5% of your range is losing 5% of your range. And again, you're taking from the slowest part of the charging curve, not the fastest. So yeah, it's just something to keep in mind. Just kind of closing out, the road trip went great, right? Like it went as well as I could expect it to go outside of the weird, odd slowdowns. But those are things that happen on any trip, in any car. And you just kind of get, you know, you accept them because that's what long distance travel is. But all three chargers, 3 for 3, actually I guess now 4 for 4, started right up. There was a bit of a hiccup with one of them. And I'll talk about this maybe in another video with Electrify America. They started the plug-in charge functionality, but what happens is it starts communicating with the vehicle right away. And if you try to activate through the app while it's still communicating, it hangs for a bit. And that actually introduces more time to the activation, which, again, it's not an excuse for Electrify America, but it's an explanation of why it works. But otherwise, yeah, so 4 for 4, just pull in and plug in and start charging. So, I mean, yeah, maybe I'm just lucky. I don't know. But 3 Electrify America and 1 ChargePoint charger, no issues. No issues at all. So, I mean, it's worth, you know, thinking about. But like I said, I don't know how much I'm going to charge up here. Anything past 50% is really kind of just optional because I don't need to condition the battery anyway. And then, yeah, just get some shut-eye, and then it's LA Auto Show tomorrow and LA Auto Show the day after. Just some sort of regional driving around, and then the road trip will continue until morale improves. So I'd love to hear what you think. What do you think of this initial 500-mile leg? Do you like the idea of breaking these videos up so they're a little bit smaller rather than doing one big 1 hour, 2 hour epic road trip video? Do you find it more useful for it to be you know, shorter, more palatable? And then, of course, what is it you want to see more of in the video? What do you want to see less of in the video? Or what are some questions you have about what I've been doing? Again, I don't use a trip planner, so it's just PlugShare, looking for chargers, chargers that I think are interesting, that are located where I think I would want them to be, near things that I want, you know, to visit or do when I'm on the trip. So it's just PlugShare and Google Maps, and a lot of time I'm actually just looking for the chargers while I'm driving using Google Apps voice. So there's no magic to it. It's just paying attention and driving. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful and informative. If you did, please like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And thank you for watching.